Cool. What's going on, everybody? We can wait for anybody to come in here. How y'all doing today? I think we're gonna pick up where we left off the other day. Let's pull up some stuff. Let's see. Quick action MD. Just kind of get some stuff started here. Anybody wants to hop in the chat, say what's up today? How y'all doing? Hopefully my mic is actually working today. Looks good. Okay. So we have about, really this is the last feature. Excuse me. We're going to add, and then we're going to start getting ready for the next version release. I'm going to do maybe one refactor. Oh, we crashed? My bad. Reload. I might have actually lost it. Let's see here. Oh no, Claude. Come to me. That's unfortunate. That was just working. That's strange. I don't know why that just randomly crashed. Let me see if I can diagnose that real fast. Of course. Anytime I start a stream, something's got to go wrong immediately. The other days it's been my audio will cut out immediately, and now Claude wants to immediately crash like it never has. Okay, give me 1 second. Let's come over here to a terminal. This is just Claude desktop. Check my terminal. Starting app. Found exact match. There's a MCP permission error. That shouldn't be much of an issue. Error, failed to initialize package, failed to start server. Address already in use. Well, it's unfortunate. So I guess we gotta do a little troubleshooting before we actually get started here. Just give me 1 second and we'll get going. Leftover process. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So very strange. IPv6 node TCP. Oh, I bet I know what it's an issue with. It's kind of annoying. 1 second, I might lose connection for 1 sec. Just try that though. That's very unfortunate. Come on now. Nope. Okay. Like now it's deciding to work. Sorry for that little hiccup. Now I think we can get started. Always wants to give me some issue. Okay. So we're going to be adding a feature onto kdoitall today, and then we've got maybe 1 or 2 refactors to do, and maybe we'll be able to finish up this version. That would be great. So we're going to be working on this plan. We kind of get it going, and then we can kind of talk about what it's about. Let's see. I've to this point, I have kdoitall to the point where I can just let Claude do most of the work on it. Most of the features that I'm adding on now are just very similar to other features. So Claude has a lot of information to reference off of. It's nothing too complicated, so I'll be kind of watching the process. I'm not just going to let it go in there and make a whole bunch of changes. Usually I don't want it to make any changes without me first knowing exactly what files it's wanting to change, its implementation plan. I think that's what keeps you from building tech debt. I think that's going to be kind of like the topic of today, is all the ways of reducing tech debt whenever you're using AI to develop with. Not just going overboard with it, being able to, step in at any point in time, knowing when to step in to make decisions. Hopefully we'll have some examples of that today. Today we're going to be adding in a quick action for kdoitall. So kdoitall kind of works. You can make a workspace, and you can add a whole bunch of applications to it if you want to have a workspace with VS Code and a web browser and a terminal and just whatever you want. You can create that workspace, and then you can have the applications launch on a specific screen. If you have multiple virtual desktops, you can have it launch on different desktops, and Then there's also a lot of pre-configured screen positions that I have, whether it's like right side, left side. I've got, at this point I have like 16 different positions, but some of them are optional, so you can kind of add them and remove them as you go. I'm going to let it get familiar with the code base. Like I was reading quite a few files. Usually what you want it to do, I want it to get familiar with the design patterns. You know, I don't have to spend a whole lot of time creating instructions and creating skill files, because I have pretty strong design patterns overall. And so when it's reading through the files, it's like, okay, you know, I need to be handling databases like this. I need to handle debugging like this, you know. I think the biggest part of reducing tech debt is not just saying, you know, this is the feature that I want to add in, and then just letting it immediately start editing files and adding in the feature. You know, you want to see what thought process it's going through, what its implementation plan is, and then, you know, really, like, you're the arbiter in the situation, so you need to decide if it's good, if it aligns with your design patterns, and, you know, if it's going to add tech debt. If the solutions that it's thinking of are like workarounds, or if they are good solutions. Because if it's just making a whole bunch of workarounds because it's not thinking fully through the problem, that's when you need to just step in and say, okay, let's think about this some more. Let's see what options we have here. I did that a lot recently with the database layer for this application. This has been the first time I've really tried to make like an in-depth database for like a bash, like a bash project. And so I didn't really know what was the best way to use SQLite. And the first implementation that I made worked, but it wasn't like, it was prone to SQL injections, and also it had some issues where, you know, it could have dangerous characters go in that mess things up. So ended up having to go back in and really work through, like, over a couple sessions, like, what is actually the best method for having a database with a bash project. You know, like, you can use bash files. Do I need to use SQL files? Like, I ended up figuring out that I just need to integrate it with Python in a way, because Python's kind of the gold standard for managing SQL databases. And so once I kind of got that figured out, we were able to refactor the database functions, and it works like 10 to 15 times better now, and it doesn't have any errors. So okay, so yep, give it about 3 or 4 minutes, let it look through the code base, and now it's going to kind of tell me its plan. Phase 1, core picker and simple actions. So we need to add the database. Let's see, does that fit into the design pattern? Not totally, but let's see. DB get quick window list. Yeah, you see, that's already kind of something where it's like, okay, it wants to make a completely new file and then just add one function to it, when I already have a database file. Like I said, this is for Windows, so I already have a window database file. It can probably just go into that file. There's no reason to make a whole new file for that. Commands, quick dispatcher. Yeah, we will need a dispatcher for this. And then there all the different commands that it's going to make. And kind of look over the points for that. Show picker. just kind of scanning through this stuff. This isn't too complicated, so yeah, it's all pretty simple stuff. Coming soon. Move actions will be added. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Register the quick command and the dispatch case statements. You've got it. And that also looks good. The block list is defined directly in the SQL where clause. This keeps it in one place for phase 1. Feature enhancement moves it to shared constant array. Right. Okay, so we'll just make our one quick adjustment. Okay. I don't think we need to make a db quick. db window sh. Function to make then. When I'm making adjustments to the plan, like I don't want to be like I'm confident in the change, but at the same time, like it might have made that design decision for something else. So I want to give it the chance to argue for itself if it did have more of a reasoning behind making that. So one function doesn't warrant its own file. There's no, yeah. It's purely a read query is the natural home for it. Yeah. Sounds good. Proceed with updates. So I think one of the strongest parts of my workflow, which I don't really watch a whole lot of other people develop with AI. I hear a lot of people like talking about it, but as far as like doing it live, I haven't really watched a lot of people do it. But it seems like a lot of people will go in a plan mode first and get the AI to make a plan first, and then in the next session it'll have it just implement that entire plan. And in some cases I can see that being okay, but for the most part I want to go sometimes I'll have it create a plan file and then we'll work off that plan file. But even when we're working through that plan file for each phase or each like major section of it, I want it to tell me exactly what it's going to do right before it does it. I want it to give me the plan, and then if I look over that and say, okay, that's good, then we'll go through and implement that section, and then we'll go to the next section. And that just, I think that helps in a lot of ways. It kind of helps me follow along with what's going on. Yeah, because if you just have a full plan file, that's like 500 to 1,000 lines, and it's just going through and editing all these files, making all these new files. Then yeah, you can go in after that and kind of look at the diffs and see what happened. But I think it's probably the most powerful. Like if we're really going like AI assisted here, then you want to be right there in the process with it. You want to see what it wants to change as it's changing it. We also are using Opus 4.6 with extended thinking, and having the extended thinking I think it's great just because it's going to do more thinking to begin with. It's going to read over some more files, and then also whenever it finishes making the updates, it's going to verify everything, which we can see it found an issue. Which is something I've had issues with before. Just the way that it's supposed to make bash scripts is more strict than it usually would make bash scripts. So it kind of knowing that because I have set EUO pipe fill, I think is what it's called, all the way up here. Like it's like the first line whenever you run a command for kdoitall, and it's just literally this one line right here, and that's it. And so if it doesn't read this file whenever it's familiarizing itself with the code base, or if it just simply looks over it, it's very easy to look over something like that, then it's not going to follow the guidelines, because this kind of like determines how bash scripts have to be created. Like they have to be created in a more strict way than if this wasn't there. So that's something that I added to the instructions, and it keeps it pretty aware of what it's doing. Oh wow, yeah. Yeah, I'm actually fairly impressed with that. Because like I give it the instructions and I offer some of the design patterns there, like just the most important ones that I really don't need it to overlook. But sometimes it'll lose that, if you get too far into a session, you gotta think like it's a very small part. Like it knows that the instructions are important, but often it can kind of forget about them when it's working on a whole bunch of things. But it did very good in going back over the changes that it made and following those coding standards that I have outlined. So that's really good. Okay, so that's a phase 1 complete, so we can continue. I'm really kind of working off of a few basic statements. So if I say like let's continue, then it's going to go to the next phase and show me the plan for that. And when I say proceed with updates, then it's going to go ahead and actually implement the updates. So just kind of an easy way to switch between plan mode and development mode. And like I say, this code base is already pretty well built out. That's kind of why I don't have to be as hands-on now, because it's able to just look through files that are already in existence and design patterns that are already there, and it can understand what it needs to do. Number list of screens. Okay, so now we're just going in and actually adding all the commands, because I haven't really totally described what feature we're actually implementing here. I'll go ahead and let us start implementing it, and maybe I can talk about that. Okay. I think I started explaining earlier and probably got off track, but that tends to happen. So we're adding a like a quick command for kdoitall, and that's just going to be, it's going to give you like a list of all your active windows, and it's just going to give you easy access to moving those windows or manipulating them in some way. You know, if you have windows across a whole bunch of desktops, then you want to move them around. This can kind of make it easier to do that. So kdoitall uses a tool called kdoitall, which I would not have been able to make kdoitall without kdoitall. I'm going to be sending my thanks over to that creator. But kdoitall requires you to like search the active windows, and then you can get information like a class, and then you have to kind of like query a few times, and then you can figure out what the actual window is, and then from there you can get the UUID for that window, and then you can manipulate it. It's very powerful. It's the only tool that I've found that can query information for windows and also manipulate them for KDE Plasma and Wayland. But it is still, it requires a couple steps to do something like that, so we're just kind of making something that makes that a bit quicker now. I need to go blow my nose. Give me 1 second. Okay. Yeah, it's doing very good about sticking to the coding standards. That's some impressive stuff. See how far we are through this plan. Step 1, step 2. I think I got, oh yeah. Cool. Just gotta do some polishing after this. And this will be done. And then we'll make one other implementation and be ready to do some testing. And that'll be a little bit funner than doing all this design stuff. Can actually show this application in action. Do. Boom, 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 boom. Hope everyone's doing well today. So, just finishing this step up. Great. Phase 2 is complete. And phase 3 shouldn't take too long. So, if y'all have any questions about coding with AI, what y'all, if you've heard about the hype of AI but don't really know what's real and what's not, feel free to ask questions, because I've been, working with AI for years at this point. And I know like the good and bad of it, the pros and all the cons. These 2 changes are applied. Okay. All good stuff. Move to screen position is a shared helper. By both the screen move action and the combo move. Abbreviations via the, okay. All good stuff. All good stuff. Data action summary. Oh, make me love. As someone who didn't go to college for computer science, tried that route out for a little bit and just wasn't really what I wanted to go forward with. I learned a lot better on my own. But, being a self-taught developer and also coming up in the age of AI, you have to kind of sift through a lot of information and determine for yourself, like, what is the best way to use AI, because there is a definite trade-off. Me not personally going through and hand coding all this stuff right now, I am losing out on some learning. But whenever I started this project, a lot of it was hand coded, and I had to familiarize myself a bit with Bash, and learn some of like the standards for creating an application with Linux. And it's a lot about just deciding, at what points do you want to just improve your speed for development, and at what points do you really want to sit down and get the repetition in and be able to, really hand code out everything. And I'd say a lot of this, like I could hand code it at this point. Like I don't really want to have to hand code all like the prompts that it sends out, all the output that it's showing. That's just, that's a very easy thing to off put onto AI. Okay. So maybe we can test that out a little bit. Let's see. Let's try kdoitall status. Now let's try kdoitall quick. Active windows. Okay. So we'll try something simple. So we're going to go with the VS Code window. We're going to just move the position, and we'll go to the right half. And did that actually work? Crap. Yeah, so cool. That did work. And I can kind of show that even more in action, I suppose. Let's pull this over here. Let's run that back one more time. We can go 2, we can go 3, and then we can go bottom right, which is 9. Yep. Simple stuff, but very, very powerful stuff. Very nice. As you can see, we just implemented this entire feature, and first shot, it's working. So that just kind of shows you how powerful AI can be, and whenever you give it the right context and don't overload it and don't give it stuff that it doesn't need, like, yep, it's going to go in there and usually make the right decisions. But also, we are working with Bash right now. This isn't the most complex language. That's kind of been one thing I've been noticing where I have developed with, like, Python, and which Python isn't that complicated, but there's a lot of aspects to Python. It can get pretty in-depth. But Bash overall is a pretty simple language, so once I spent the time to begin with to get a good baseline and develop some good design patterns, then it's been pretty easy just to add features from there. And that's mostly what we're doing now. So, anytime I create something completely new, that's when I'm spending more time actually making the design decisions. But that's good. Okay, let's move on to the next thing that we wanted to make. Let's come here. Oh, crap. Okay. Bring our terminal, page up, page down. Okay. So we can do our git commit message and move on to the next thing. Cap lock. Yeah, I guess let me try that combo move real fast because that was a little bit more complex. So let's go. Okay, kdoitall quick. And then we'll go 2 again. Let's go with the combo move. And we'll go desktop 2, screen 1, and position right half. And let me go on desktop 2, and then yes, it did move to the right one. Very good. And now we can see about moving it back. Okay, kdoitall quick. 2. We're gonna go combo move to 1, move to 2, and was it full screen? Boom. That was pretty quick. That was pretty quick. Okay. Make our git commit. Bada boom. That had a... Where did it mess up at? It looks like that should work. Did I do something wrong there? Oops. Oh, I'm not in the right one. That would help. That would help. I could agree. Let's add a terminal. Okay. Very good. Okay. So with all the updates that I've made recently, I think my help system is getting a little bit complex. Let's take a look at that. Okay, do it all help. It's not the worst, honestly. It's actually a lot better than I thought it would be. I think if anything, I should just have that up a little bit higher. Let's just make that change. That'll work. Okay. Let me pull up my checklist. Not what I was looking for. The app definitions generator. Okay, let's make this update. Let's make an app definitions generator. Generate the functions sh and metadata JSON for new applications. Should take an app ID parameter, create the directory and files. Inputs for the function name. Actually see how that looks. Most of that's going to be in the metadata. Function name, description. Right. The number of parameters and their names and descriptions. Okay. more functions. Not being too complicated in the prompting. I'm just trying to give it an overview of what I'm trying to do here, and just to kind of get things started. And we'll get into more depth. I don't even think we'll really have to make a plan file for this. We can probably just get all this done in this session. Boom, 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 boom. Hope everyone's having a productive day. Feeling fairly productive right now. Just excited to finally get the next version of this application out. I have the first version released on GitHub right now. But I guess once I release that version, I just stepped it into overdrive and added a whole bunch more features. And I think it's only been about a week since I I pushed that first version, but should be ready to push the next one. Maybe today. That'd be nice, but if not today, then definitely tomorrow. So let's see what kind of plan it is suggesting. So I can kind of describe what this is, I guess, so we don't have too much confusion with what's going on. So, like I say, kdoitall is able to launch applications. It has like two different launch methods. It's got like a generic launch method where it just finds the desktop files on your system and is able to just launch the desktop files using a command called a GTK launch. And then there's a more in-depth launch type where we can actually make files. If I can not lose myself here. Let me see where we're at. What are we looking for? Oh yeah, app definitions, okay. So we can make actual app definitions for applications. Right now I just have two in here because this hasn't been what I've been focusing on. I just have one for VS Code and then another for Firefox. But we can go into this. So I have specific functions made for these. So for VS Code, you can launch VS Code in a directory. You know, it's not anything too crazy, but it's better than just launching VS Code normally. So you can give it your directory that you want to launch it into, and then I have another one for workspace, so you can launch one of your workspaces. It's pretty simple stuff to make. Tried to really simplify these files. And then just your metadata, that's just kind of the information required for the functions. That's just kind of so Bash is able to gather that data rather than having to grep the actual function files. So we're going to make a generator that's just going to make it easier to add new applications. It's just going to automatically generate these files and make it, just make it simpler to develop these functions and get this stuff working. So let's see what kind of plan it created. An interactive generator script that scaffolds app definition files, supports both creating new app definitions from scratch and appending additional functions to existing ones. Correct. Input collection. Interactive prompts, always collected. We have to collect the app ID. It's the most crucial thing. And then we'll need the function name to create the metadata, the description, private launcher name for the private sub. I'm not private launcher name. What's that in reference to? I'm not sure what it's talking about there. For existing apps, user can enter the name of an already defined launcher to skip generating a duplicate stub. Right. Okay, that's fair. Okay, I understand that. Parameter count, the number of custom parameters. Also good. For a new application, you'll need the terminal command. Correct. Generate the directory, generate the functions file, source your files, the private launcher stub, the public function with the full boilerplate standard 5 parameter plus custom params, the debug function enter exit, db get properties, and the parsers. Okay. Check for duplicate function name. Good deal. Check the private launcher. I think we just need one private launcher. Shouldn't be making more than one. The new private launcher stub if needed. It's pretty good. We might actually have to implement this and just see how it works. And make some changes from there. Yeah, I probably added some confusion to that, honestly. These should just be called launch code. Um, yeah. Yeah, we can give this a shot. I'm not really creating a plan file for this because I don't think this is too complicated of a thing. We're also not editing existing files, so I can just kind of look at the file it creates. Sorry, give me one moment while this writes. Ah, I don't know why I can't seem to breathe out of my nose today. Boom, boom, boom. You can see what it's working on. It's kind of a long file, but nothing too crazy. Guess I can go in here and fix this. Might have to reload the database, but probably should fix this. Okay. That looks better. Let's go into the metadata. Update that. We'll have to decide how we want to test this. Probably do like a Google Chrome. That'll be one that I add in soon. I think the app ID for that is just Google-Chrome. But it's pretty easy to determine that. We'll go ahead and look at that. So let's go to a terminal. Clear. Google Chrome. Oh, my bad. Launch that. And then we can go back here. We can go to a new terminal. Okay, do it all status. And we can see this. This is something that I need to clean up. I know that's messy. We're going to clean that up soon. There we go. Yep. And another thing we can actually do is go kdoitall app info Google Chrome to really get all the information for it. Invalid application not found. Okay, let's go kdoitall app list. Oh no, it's not working. That's okay. That's the troubleshooting step we're going to be getting to soon. Also, probably just need to reload that database and reset it. So we'll do one quick test of this, and then we'll start doing some troubleshooting. Going through all the commands and making some adjustments. Yeah, we could make. Okay. Yeah, we'll do the console or .kde.console. Okay. We'll give it a shot. So, what are we gonna do? LSLA scripts. I'm not in the right. Shared projects. Okay, do it all. SLA scripts. We're gonna go. We can actually just do CD. I can spell, can I? Generate app definition. What did I spell wrong? Oh, wait, I came out of the kdoitall. Oh, my bad. See if this works. Let's start it from the top. App ID org.kde.console. Terminal command is just console. Guard name. That should be automatically determined. Yeah, that should be determined from the app ID. Let's get it to fix that real fast. Shouldn't be prompting the user to determined from the, oh crap. It's determined from the app ID. You can look at the workspace generator file to sanitize. Wow, I spelled that right. Have to sanitize the app ID for the guard. And I'll even help you out. Generator. Okay, let's try it again. And we can call it, is it launch? Yeah, I can just have a generic name. Launched KDE console window. Open. Open directory. Number of parameters 1. Parameter name. Directory path. Parameter definition. Could probably give some more help for this, like suggestions. Just to kind of align with the other app definitions. You know, really don't need to show the guard name. It's not really necessary. But we'll see what happens. Got a metadata. Does it look similar to this one? Or similar to function name, parameter. Okay. Yeah. And actual functions. Implement launch command. Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean we can automate this some more, but honestly I might just do that later. This is kind of like a bit of an addition that we don't have to spend a whole lot of time right now on. I really want to get to the troubleshooting. Gosh. But that's a good baseline to work off of. Yeah, I think we'll just make the git commit for that. Man, I could not breathe today. I feel all stopped up. My nose isn't actually stopped up. Okay. I didn't. Stage changes. Probably should have done that. Okay. So, now we get to have some fun. What was this? Double quote. Oh, it did mess that up. Okay. Again, something I can work on later. I'm actually just going to delete that for now. That was just kind of a test. Okay. Let's do some troubleshooting. This should be fun. See, we have the logs and everything. Let's get us a clean workspace. And let's head back here. Okay, we can probably start with app list since, well, let's do a reset. Let's go scripts, dev, reset, sh, bada bing. Very good, and then we can do a kdoitall app scan. Will our first command actually work? Looking like it. Like I say, that just scans the user system for desktop files, and maybe kdoitall app list will work now. That would be great. Okay, cool. Very nice. Actually, you can see that it's going to show a list of applications on your system. I actually need to do a slight improvement to that because it's not, I don't have like a Flatpak, like the Flatpak directory in there. So it's not picking up all applications, but the majority of them it's picking up right now. It's going to show the display name and the app ID, and then the launch types. As you can see, right now we only have a terminal launch type for Firefox and for VS Code, but that'll be improved. So Let's try some other app commands. kdoitall app info. Was it Google Chrome? Is that? I can go. Hello, Google Chrome. Yep, it is Google Chrome. Google Chrome. Yep, we got some information. The window class is not yet detected. That's fair. All of that looks correct. Let me actually remove any workspaces that I've created. Should be right here. Nope, I'm sorry, right here. Okay, I don't have any workspaces. Very good. Let's see. Okay, kdoitall status. It's going to show your active windows. Could probably, yeah, that definitely needs some cleanup. Words get jumbled up. But we're just going to kind of run through some commands right now, and we'll clean some things up here in a second. So we've already tested the quick ones, but let's just do a kdoitall help so I can kind of see what ones I want to run through right now. Yeah, I guess we'll make a workspace. We'll kind of show how that works. kdoitall workspace create. We'll give it a name, just test1. We don't care about a description, and then we'll add applications one at a time. We'll do Google Chrome since we were talking about that. So 40. It automatically gives the window a name. That just kind of makes it easier, because otherwise you would have to be referencing windows by their UUIDs. So this just kind of makes it an easy way for users to reference windows. We can just kind of use the one that it suggested, though. You can also give it your own name. So I guess I could just do my Google. And then it detects the number of virtual desktops. We'll just use our current virtual desktop, which is 1. Detects the number of screens and lets you set what screen. We'll do the screen I'm showing on stream. The available positions. Just kind of shows all the different positions we can put. I think we're going to do 4 applications. So we'll start with top left. 3. Add another application. Yes. And we're also, like I said, we're going to be doing testing here. So I'm going to add an application that I already have opened up so we can kind of see how it works with determining applications that are already in existence and grabbing those applications or grabbing those windows. So I have a text editor open on my other screen. So we'll see if it's going to grab that one. So 92. Window name, we'll go my text editor, window desktop 1, screen 2, and then we're going to go top, let's see, top right. I was trying to remember if I did the other one right. Okay, I did that wrong. I guess we can test the back feature. I don't know if I have that much set up right now, though. Okay, since I kind of messed that up, I don't know if I can actually go back to a previous application. I have a back button, but I don't know if it'll actually go back to a previous application that I added. Something to add in later, though. So let's just go right half for now, since I just did left half. And we'll just do 2 applications to start with. So no. And then after it launches all windows, you can select which window to actually focus. We will focus Google Chrome. And then proceed with workspace creation. Yes. Okay, and then it's as simple as kdoitall workspace open test1. Okay, yes, that is also true. So if the metadata for an application isn't already in the database, then it recommends getting that information first. And so there's kind of like a process that we have to do that. We can skip it. It's going to work fine, I'm sure. We're just going to skip it this time and see what happens. Okay. Shared. Could not detect window for app ID. Yeah, that did happen because we didn't run it in safe mode. Like I say, safe mode won't actually be required for a lot of applications. I'll be adding in metadata for like a lot of the general applications. So whenever users install kdoitall, like they don't have to go through safe mode unless it's hasn't already been added to the database. But we will, I guess we'll show safe mode. Let's close that out. kdoitall workspace close test1 is not active. Okay, yeah, that's because it errored out. Okay. Yeah, these are some edge cases, so that's fair. But let me just close out Chrome. Now let's do now we'll do the open and we'll go through safe mode. Okay, let's accept safe mode. Text editor. It's not going to work because, again, I already have it open. So let me close it out. And we'll do that again. Okay. It's going to test if multiple instances are allowed. It gets some information about it, and then I can just accept that. Cool. Okay, so that worked. That was pretty good. Okay. Probably some notes I can write down about all that, just so I can kind of add it to my task list. Because, okay, so when creating workspace, allow editing of previous applications, and trying to think. So the issue that happened, and one of the main things that kdoitall has to deal with is applications that only allow single instances. So when it tried to launch the text editor, it basically it got a snapshot of all the active windows, and then it waited for a new window to enter that snapshot, basically. But since the text editor was already in there, it didn't detect a new window, which is fine. Like, you don't want it to detect. Like, if I already had a Google Chrome opened up and I wanted to open a workspace with Google Chrome, then, I wouldn't want it just to detect the other window that already existed. So if it allows multiple instances, then you want it just to wait for the new instance. But there's probably something I can add to that. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so if detect window or detect UUID by process of elimination times out, then attempt to detect already existing window with matching. Well, I can say matching class, but if the class isn't already in there. Yeah, if the class is already in there, then let's do one more test then, so I can figure out what's going on. Okay, so let me move the text editor back to the other screen. Got up, and then I'm just going to close Google Chrome, and I should be able to do a kdoitall status just to kind of see. Yeah, that's good. So it kind of shows that the workspace is still active, but it also shows that Google Chrome was closed. So that's good. That was a big mouse. Okay. So now let's do a kdoitall workspace open test 1. And so the text editor does already exist. So we're going to see if it actually detects an already existing window. And it is not. Okay. And if I do kdoitall app info for, was it org? I'm losing it. Is it? Well, okay, app list. Text editor is org.gnome.texteditor. Okay. Kdoitall app info org.gnome.texteditor. And the launch mode is single or unique. Let's go to our core function. Single instance short circuit. So if launch mode is launch mode single. Yeah, I think we should just add that to it. Single or unique. Yeah, there's a strange edge case of, like, you have applications that'll launch as just a single instance all the time. You have applications that'll launch as a multi-instance all the time. And then you have unique applications that will sometimes launch multiple instances, but in other cases won't. So, like, if you have VS Code open and you have it open in a directory, like my project or whatever, and then you try to launch VS Code with the terminal into that directory, it's not going to open another window of VS Code. It's just going to refocus that window. But at the same time, you could just, if you just launched VS Code normally and it's not launched in a directory, then you can launch as many instances as you want. And if you launch it into a different directory, you can just launch multiple instances. So you have like launch mode single, launch mode multi, and then there's launch mode unique, which is like a mixture of single or multi. But I think we should just add, because the safe mode isn't able to fully detect which one it is. It's kind of able to narrow it down some. But whenever we ran safe mode, it just determined the launch mode as single or unique, even though it is single. Text editor only ever allows a single instance. But so I think we should just add single or unique to the launch function, because whenever it attempts to launch an application, if it is single, then it's going to attempt to detect if that window already exists, and then it'll just grab that window. But if it's not, then it's like it doesn't try to detect that. Single or unique. So I think the best case for this actually would be, if it's single or unique, not to try to detect it right here, but to attempt to launch it, and then to try to, and if that fails, then you can attempt to detect it. So let's go ahead and add that in. Okay. So let's fix the window detection for applications that are not launch mode multi. Right now, the only time we attempt to detect an already existing window is when it is launch mode single. Do that before attempting to launch an application. I think we should keep this as is, but for applications that are launch mode single or unique, or launch mode unknown, we should attempt to launch the application and detect the UUID with get UUID by process of elimination first, and then if that fails, then we should attempt to detect already existing windows. This will give applications that do allow multiple instances a chance to launch first, and when a new window does not launch, then attempt to detect already existing windows. Okay, that should be able to get us going. Give me 1 second. Oh. Oh no. Don't embarrass me, dog. Come on now. Come on, bro. You know what you're doing. What are we doing? It's in the instructions. Come on now. Don't worry me. Yeah, so I'm guessing whenever we do this, we're going to be adding it. So we have the get UUID by process of elimination. It's probably going to be around this area where we added at. So yeah, if that times out, skip UUIDs. Then it can check for already existing windows. Yep, so for single modes, we check before launching an application. And then we do a final fallback. If the class isn't already in there, then you're kind of just out of luck. But you order phase 4 detection based on launch mode. I really wish I could breathe today. My gosh. I don't think I normally talk like this, but I'm having a lot of trouble breathing. I'm just so stopped up. My lord. Okay, so if no new window, quick check for existing window. And as you can see, whenever I started this session, although it definitely should have known to use desktop command or MCP, there are other instructions that let Claude know that, like, I don't want you to immediately start editing files. You know, I always want it to kind of tell me a plan first. You can kind of see that here. The default rule before modifying any file, show a detailed implementation plan and stop. Do not output full code or full file contents at this stage. So I don't want it to tell me the plan by literally giving me full functions. Like, I don't want it just to repeat the same thing it's going to do on my operating system. Just show me a good detailed plan, and then if adjustments are requested, just show the changes to the plan. Don't keep printing out the entire plan over and over again. Planning files don't have to follow this rule. And then anytime I tell it to proceed with updates, that's when it knows to actually start writing files. So that keeps it pretty consistent for me and allows me to follow along with its line of thinking and step in whenever I need to. So yeah. After the launch, the detection logic becomes mode aware. If no new window, quick check for existing window. Still nothing, final, fallback. Launch mode, multi-code changes, and execute launch window. Replace the current linear detection sequence with a conditional structure. Try process of elimination first. If failed, try quick check. Yeah, I think the only issue with this is just that whenever process of elimination fails, it sends an error. So it's going to have to adjust that so it doesn't just send an error, but allows for continuation. Yeah, that seems about right. Very good. Okay. Let's give that a shot. You see, it's pretty aware of its instructions. It's like, I'm waiting. Just tell me to proceed with updates. I'll get going. I think this is a lot better than having it like one session for plan mode and then having another session for actually development mode. Oh no. Starting to struggle. I don't know what this session's up to. This is a weird session. So I haven't seen it miss the fact to use desktop commander in a long time. Especially at the very start of a session. That's just weird. Might need to do a restart of Claude Desktop, actually. It is acting a little weird. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah, it's probably like the most confusing part of developing this application is that there's like a blind spot in between like launching an application and then detecting the window, and then there's like no telling what actually happens between when you just try to launch a new application and then for kdoitall to actually detect that window and be sure it's detecting that window and not something else. You can have issues with launch time, which is something I still need to go more in depth with. If you have an application that takes like 10 seconds to launch, I don't really have logic built in for that yet. Right now it's just kind of got like a 5-second timeout because you don't want it just to keep waiting indefinitely for applications. You want it to actually fail if it messes up. Okay, let me test this out real fast. Okay, so we have the text editor still open. We're gonna close Chrome, and then we got workspace open test 1. Bada bop. It'll be about a 5-second timeout while it waits, and then it should. Did it not? Okay. Cannot convert indexed. That's yeah, we should fix that. Cannot convert indexed to associative array. Yeah, that's something to do with arrays, because Bash apparently has a hard time dealing with arrays. And I have like more of a log, but I don't think we need to get into all that right now. Also might not actually have it in this workspace. Probably should add it to the workspace. I remember where I put that. I think, is it logs? Yeah, it is logs. Okay. Da 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 da. Yeah, so yeah, it has full logs, but I probably don't need to give it the full log yet. We'll see if it can figure out what that was about. Creates an indexed array, then declare a GA tries to redeclare it as an associative, which Bash won't allow. Need to unset first. The issue was that excluded UUIDs creates an index Bash cannot convert. We don't need to be converting things. I mean, if it's a global array, you can just create the array and then read from the array. Like, there's no... Creates an indexed array. I might have to look more into that in a second, but... Okay. Let's just try this one more time. Will we just create more problems? Yeah, let's address that, because that was not right. Okay. Why is it converting arrays? Making a global array. Shouldn't be a reason we have to convert it to anything. This is where actually knowing what's going on comes in handy. Because if, I didn't actually know how this application worked, I didn't actually know, the standards to build a project with Bash, then we'd have got to this point, and who knows how much debugging we would have had to go through for it to figure this out. But I was like, I've already been through plenty of issues with arrays in Bash, and it's hard to pass them around locally. So, yeah, usually I'm just making arrays global, just so I don't have to deal with a whole bunch of conversions. Should be declared as a global associative array once at the top of window alongside the other globals, and the function just clears it. No declare GA inside the function at all. The conversion error happens because declare GA inside a function tries to redeclare something that was already initialized as indexed. Okay. Top of add declare GA excluded UUIDs alongside the other global arrays. Replace unset with just excluded. Yes, yes, yes. Like I say, if I was just in here, just having AI build this entire project, and I didn't understand how the actual code worked, we would have been stuck with this for a while. And I'm betting that actually fixed it. Let's clear this. Let's close Google Chrome again. Again, the text editor is still up, so should be a little timeout. Come on, grab the text editor. Okay, maybe not. Yeah, I mean, it still has that error. That's what I told it about earlier. Window not found. I mean, let me look at is that an organized right? I don't know. Probably fix the naming of those logs so I can actually read what's going on better. Oh, it's like up here. I'm not totally sure. Probably need to fix that. Oh. I might need to fix these logs because the fact that I can't find the log that just happened is a little bit of an issue. I don't think that's it. Definitely not. 2026 223 is the 25th. Oh, okay. I know the issue. Sorry about that. We can go to... I gotta go to the config file and change something. cd config kdoitall, and then nano config. Okay. Yes, I have to enable log to file. Oopsie daisy. Enabled, and then we're also going to change the directory path for that to Shared logs kdoitall. Kdoitall. Okay. That's, oh wait. Get the directory. Okay, that should fix that. Let's come here. Debug error is showing regardless. Okay. Auto detection, this should be a debug log instead. Timeout is informational. Yes. Also, line 179's unset excluded should be right. I don't know if that's the full issue, but we do need to fix that. Like I say, that's probably not going to fix it, but we'll see. Now I actually have my logs coming in, so let's try that again. Lose that over. It's probably going to time out. Give it a second. Okay. Now we can see the actual logs. Very good. What are we looking for? Execute launch window. I might just have to get Claude to look through that because that is quite a log. Oh, it's just a whole bunch of failed get UUIDs. But it should be after, so after all these don't succeed, then let's see. Execute launch window, get UUID. Okay, well, we'll have it look through that log. La da 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 da. It still is not detecting the window after the process of elimination fails. Let's fix this. Editor. Already. And one more piece of information. I'll give it that. That should give it enough information to work off of. Yeah, so this is something I could probably look into pretty deep and figure out exactly what's going on, but it's going to require me really going through that log, and could probably have a better methodology for actually searching through the log, but it is slightly confusing. It has all the information in here that we should need for debugging this, but it's also a little bit difficult to read through. You can see it attempted 50 times to get that UUID. And then once it finished, no new window, checking if app focused an existing window. Checking if app focused an existing window. Okay, yeah, okay, so it did say the quick check failed. That is what we were looking for. Trying class title fallback. Get UUID. I mean, I got it. Searching for windows with class. No windows found with class. And that's kind of the error. Because there was. Definitely was. Quick check happens 5 seconds too late. After the process of elimination timeout, by then the active window is still Chrome, so the condition current active UUID is false, and the quick check is skipped entirely. What? By then the active window is still Chrome, so the condition current active UUID is false, and the quick check is skipped. Why would that make the quick check skip? That doesn't make sense. The text editor likely focused briefly, then lost focus. Now that makes more sense. That makes some sense. The class title fallback also fails because... Are you for serious? Oh my gosh. Quick check is still. The post-launch snapshot is captured inside the quick check block, which for single or unique runs 5 seconds after launch. By then, the active window is Chrome. The text editor's brief focus was long. It is not. That's not right at all. Capture the post-launch snapshot once immediately after sleep. Launch delay before the mode branching both paths. Then use the pre-captured. So the kdoitall reject search can't match. My lord. To immediately after sleep launch delay. Okay, it's gonna have to explain this some more. I don't know what kind of logic it was using for that, but that's just not at all right. What does the active window have to do with the quick check? I mean, the active window is just for like refocusing. Well, I mean, once a UUID is detected, then yeah, that makes my analysis. The quick check is the active window check. It's specifically designed to detect when the active window changed without a new window appearing. That's just not right. Specifically designed to detect when the active window changed. Yeah. Hmm. Okay, we'll leave that for now. Let's fix the... Gonna show it how that works. It's probably been the hardest thing to deal with this is just learning how to escape characters correctly, and that's such a annoying thing to develop. That's still just part of the issue, though. Let me look more into what else is going on. Move the post-launch snapshot capture to immediately after sleep launch. Capture post-launch snapshot once. Get existing window. Straight regardless of whether the input contains one. The variable-based approach that avoids the ambiguity. Mm-hmm. Very good. Yep. Let me look through this logic some more. Like I said, out of this whole entire application, this is the most confusing function. It has the most logic built into it, so it looks like I'm struggling a little bit. I am, because there's a lot going on here. Let me get on here to like what the plan was. No, wait. This was the last refactor I did for this function. That's more about the data flow. That's not really about the actual launch flow. Yeah. I don't really know if that tells us what we need to know. I don't think it does. Safe mode gathering. Yeah, that's just the data flow. That's not really what we're looking for. Yeah, okay. Okay, and then we need to Okay, so phase 1, we grab the snapshot of all active windows. Phase 2, we do the single instance short circuit, which if there's just a single instance allowed for the application, then it attempts to detect if that instance already exists. Good to see. Prepare and launch. Record active windows before launch. Check if active window class matches target class. Okay. Check if active windows class matches target class. Okay, that was I kind of recall that now. That was about yeah, that was like a weird workaround I was trying to do, because if we don't already have the metadata to know if it's a single instance or not, then it basically can attempt to detect it. Check the active windows class match target. Prepare and launch. So it gets the active window UUID. So if we had the text editor opened up, and it was the active window, then it would get that UUID. Check if active windows class matches target class. The class would match. And then what it would do there is it would minimize that window, I believe, because it adds confusion. And it's if it was already active, if that window was already active, and when it attempted to launch it, then instead of actually focusing the window, it would minimize it since it was already focused. So that basically minimizes it so that it can be refocused. I don't know. Like I say, it gets confusing pretty fast. Let's see. Move the post-launch snapshot capture to immediately after sleep launch delay. This is probably like the most important part for me to understand, though, because I can't afford adding a whole bunch of clutter to this function. And like the solutions that I do add, I need to make sure that they work and that they aren't just adding more issues. So move the post-launch snapshot capture to immediately after. Remove the duplicate captures from inside both branches. Remove the 3 lines that recapture current active call. Keeps the debug log. I don't know, man. There's a lot going on here. I can spell unnecessary. Oh, that was sad. I can definitely spell that. Unnecessary. just that, like, everything I try to add in to help detect windows, like, also adds edge cases. So we just have to be really careful with this process. I say pretty much like all the features that I add on to kdoitall are pretty simple, but this is the core of kdoitall, and this is like the most complicating part. So this is really where I have to be most hands-on and making sure that like I really understand what is going on. Okay. Phase 1, the pre-launch snapshot. Auto detect all the active windows. That's correct. Okay. Populates the UUIDs, classes, and the titles. Populates the database UUIDs. Remove any stale windows. Add any existing windows to the database. So we keep like a list of the active windows in the database, and that's how we can like determine when new windows enter. So we'll have like the active list in the database, and then whenever we use a kdoitall to search the current windows, and we can compare that to the database and kind of detect what has changed and if any new windows have popped up. Add kdoitall windows, not yet in database. Phase 2, the single instance shortcut should be pretty straightforward. So if there is a single instance, then yep, that's all right. It can detect it and do what it needs to with it. Okay, phase 3, prepare and launch. This might be where the issue is. Record the pre-launch active window. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. Check if active window matches target class. Should be fine. In memory, record pre-launch window count from phase 1. Record pre-launch window count from phase 1. Okay. Launch the application. It's good and well. For single or unique or unknown. Oh, okay, so we look for the UUID for 5 seconds. Each attempt to get existing Windows UUID. If there is no new window found, then check current active. There's right. Because if it didn't create a new window, then what it did was actually focus an already existing window. And we had the step up here that minimized it if that window was focused initially. Okay. See, because that's probably what actually kind of failed then. Because that's what should have happened is that it should have attempted to launch the text editor, but it didn't launch it, it focused it. And then this validate, the check the current active, that should have actually detected the window. Okay. Staleness problem in path A is it calls 14 and 15. By the time process of elimination times out, the active window and window count captured, there are no longer representative of the immediate post-launch state. The quick check was designed to detect a brief focus change that happened right after launch. But it shouldn't be a brief focus change. It should I mean, if nothing else is is calling to be focused, then it should just have remained focused on that. But yeah, I can see that. Okay. Let's do this first, though. Cool. Okay, we'll throw that in there. Okay. Move the three lines that recapture. Set the current window count. Keep the debug log. Update this message. Hopefully this fixes it, but we'll see. This is a rather long function. Oh my gosh. Each one of those sections has been pretty well thought out. It's not just AI slop. So this is the one function that is like most crucial, that I'd be the most involved in. It's probably the most unique part of my application. You know, it's the single part that's like the AI is not really going to have in its training data. You know, it could attempt to do something like this, but if I just kept having it create this function over and over again, and you know, debugging it and keep trying to fix it over and over again, like I don't think it ever would have worked how it needs to work, because there's just so many edge cases, and have to like understand how Windows launch and how they fail, and it's just a lot. It's not captured once. We'll give it a try. Still not certain it's going to work though. Should be a little timeout. Yeah, like I said, that's probably not it yet. Something is going astray. It's even kind of It's like it's showing over here that it looks focused. But I just wonder if it actually is focused or not. Let's look at our debug log. No. We'll let it start looking at it as well. Oh. Okay, we had attempt. That's what it's looking for. Retrieved 10 windows. There are no new windows. No new window. Checking if app focused on an existing window. Quick check failed. Trying class title fallback. I mean, the fallback should work regardless. Are we still not found one windows with class? Oh, it's doing a double match. That's a dumb thing. No, I shouldn't do that. Okay. I think I can actually just stop it. I don't know why I did that. Looks like it found the window, matched the class correctly. I mean, it also should have matched that, so I'm not even sure why it didn't do that. It's actually kind of weird too. But looks like it found the window and matched the class correctly. It's probably, I don't know what it's trying to do there. Excuse me. That should already be how that function works. I don't know why. Oops. Search by classes provided, filter by window title, if provided, return result based on match count. Yeah. Yeah, it's just using the wrong logic there. Yes. We'll fix that and then we'll address the other slight issue because it should have actually matched the title. I'm not sure why I didn't do that. kdoitall window info my text editor, I think is a valid command. No. Okay. Window status. Status. Do 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 do. Okay. Okay. It actually should work this time. So let me close out my Chrome again. Ba-da-ba. Or not. Oh, oh, wow. Very good. It did work. Kind of took a minute. I could probably make that work a little bit faster. But it does detect the window now. Yeah, I can kind of think through that some more, just to kind of make that work faster, but it is working for now. So let me address that other slight issue. Also, not sure why the is a substring. Was the old code used exact match? Must have got changed at some point. Contains matching. Okay. Okay. Now, we'll look into maybe making this faster. We'll just kind of see what suggestions we can get. Let's brainstorm how to faster. I might just have to leave it like this. I feel like if we do too much more, it's just going to cause problems elsewhere. Yeah, and most of these issues will be resolved once I start building out the app registry database. So the metadata will be correct, and it'll know this is just a single instance application, and we won't have this issue at all. So, yeah. Let's move on. See any other commands we want to test out, or actually we'll make a bit more of a complicated workspace just to make sure it's still working. Test 2. Don't need a description. Let's go. Yeah, we'll do our text editor. We'll give it a default name. Virtual Desktop 1, Screen 2. Now we'll try to do 4 applications this time, so we'll go top left. And we'll add another application. We'll do Google Chrome. 40. Window name's fine. Virtual Desktop 1, Screen 2. Let's go top right. Add another application. You can do Mozilla. Try Mozilla. Or Firefox, I guess it is. 31. We have the multiple launch types. We'll just do desktop for this one. Okay, and then we're gonna go bottom left 8, and then we'll try VS Code with the terminal launch type. VS Code. Is it just code? Did I miss it? Okay. 101. And then window name is fine. We'll try our terminal launch. Our desktop number 1, screen 2, position bottom right. And then, so we're going to try to open it in a directory. I'm just going to close out this to make it simpler. Even though that is a workspace, so it actually should. It should just open. Should. We'll close it out just in case. Okay, enter parameters for this function. Space separated. Okay, so we're gonna go home, shared, projects. Okay, do it all. And then no more applications. And we can focus. We'll focus the text editor. Then it shows our summary of all the applications we're going to have in the workspace. Good deal. Create that. I'm going to close out the text editor just so it works a little bit faster. Well, that's about. Okay. And then we should be able to give this a shot. And let me just, I'm going to pull this over here and run that command just so we can kind of see it all in action. Save that. This is our desktop, so. Okay, do it all. Workspace, open test 2. 1, 2, 3, and Launch code window. Okay. Yeah, we did have an error with the VS Code. Local share kdoitall workspaces. Launch code window command not found. Let's take a look at that. We can look at the actual script that was generated when we created the workspace. Test 2. Launch code window. And it should have... I think the issue is that, okay, it didn't source. Wait. Yeah, it didn't actually source the app definition file. It's a pretty simple fix. Okay. App definitions. Yeah. Yeah, I just needed to source the file. That's fair enough. Let's control all copy. Pretty deep in this session. We'll go ahead and start a new one. An issue when adding a workspace. It does not. One moment. Oh, we got about maybe 10 to 15 more minutes, and then we're gonna have to end stream for today. It's been a very productive day, though. Got to add in our last feature, and now we're just kind of running through some debugging and cleanups. Yeah, so whenever we make a workspace, it has to generate a file, and so really the issue is just that it's not adding the source statement for the app definition, so it doesn't actually know where that function's at. Generate workspace script. Replace guard, collect unique app files that need sourcing. So it should be it should be right there. Check if it's a terminal launch by checking if launch function is not launched by app ID. Yeah, it's a bit of a workaround, but it's probably a better way to do that. Add source statements. If app files to source and app files to source, then yeah. It's probably just an issue with some of the logic. I should be able to just pass into this function, whether or not it's launch type terminal or launch type desktop. Probably don't need to be Was that doing a grep, maybe? Yeah, it's if launch function. Oh, okay, I know why that failed now. It's not actually launched by app ID. It's a different function that it's referencing. But we'll see if the AI can figure that out. My gosh. Hope y'all can't hear my stomach right now. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me today, though. No. Should be able to hop on tomorrow as well, and likely on Friday. So come back and join me and join the chat. You know, I like the company. Feel free to hit me up. I need to get my Discord running, so I can have maybe some friends in Discord I can talk to while we're coding. Add a little bit more entertainment to the mix. So registered. Make sure to shoot me a follow if you get the chance. Would greatly appreciate that. Follow me, follow me, follow me. It's instructed during workspace creation. Things really going through it. Probably should have told it the file to look at. It's kind of just going around. Yeah, I can probably stop it there. And it's been forever searching for it. I'm sure we're just gonna really just need to update this function. Generate workspace script to take a parameter for the launch mode. We should just pass that into the function instead of trying to determine it. I don't know if that's actually what's fully causing the issue, but it's definitely a better method. App files to source. App directory path. Functions.sh. The app directory path is set. dbget application directory path. App directory path. Let me look at that real fast. kdoitall app info code. The app directory path is lib app definitions apps code. Yeah, that is right. It's got all the right information in here. correctly tries to collect app definition files to source for the terminal, launch apps. The logic is sound. It detects launch code, window, launch by app ID, then tries to look at the path, but the generated script has no source files at all, which means is returning empty for code. db get app directory path is returning empty for code. I don't know about that. This points to the applications table having a null or empty. That would be incorrect. If it's empty, the registration path is, so I think I know what the issue is. Because I think launch by app ID, launch properties, execute launch window. So we can look at the logs real fast. It's probably towards the very end. Oh. Org Mozilla Firefox. Is that the right log? The heck? No, not what we're looking for. Is that the right log? Okay, this is it. Generate. Oh, that was when we generated it. Yeah, that was it. It's like it grabbed the wrong window. Or it didn't, it never launched it to begin with because it didn't have it. That's right. Trying to see what it's trying to launch. Launching. Okay, yeah. It didn't even try to launch it, so that's fair. Okay. So we're going to try to fix the conditional. Got a couple minutes. Isn't generating the spike correct? Still can't. So it's not doing that. Which means, so it gets the app directory path, so it must be the app files to source that's failing. Is that in this? Is it in here? I don't know where that function's at. App files to source. This might be in the I guess we can find it. It's one of these. Oh, the window definitions. Okay. Generation, yet the generated script has no source block. Source lines appear now. It was populated. I guess we can look at that log. Wait, is it this one? Should launch type with retry, select desktop. Validate window name. Okay. Generate workspace script. Store window definitions. Delete window definitions for workspace. Delete it all. I don't know. Yeah, that was weird. Okay. Gonna have to call it a day. Interfering. Let me just do a simpler test real fast. Workspace, create test 3. And then we'll go 101. Enter terminal 1, 2, 1, 1. Home shared projects. Do it all. No. 1. Proceed with workspace creation. Let's look at that script. Is not sourcing. Okay. And we'll give it the log for that real fast. Retrieved app directory path, generated workspace script, set focus window name. I think it really gives me all the information I need, but we'll let it look at it. It's in the it's in the database. I'm not sure. I guess that query's just failing. I don't know. Oh, okay, 2 minutes, and I gotta call it. Got to call it. Oh, I appreciate y'all hanging out with me, though. I'll be back on stream tomorrow, working on this. We'll do some more troubleshooting and prepare to ship version 0.20. So I just want to work through some more edge cases and some smaller bugs and a little bit of the workflow. And the log is revealing. Look at this section. Yep, the conditional is passing. It gets called and returns the correct path. So the launch ID check isn't the problem. The path is retrieved, which means app files to source should be populated. I don't know where that function's at. Oh, it had to be in. Okay, the issue is likely in the right block that follows, specifically the V check on the associative array or the echo statements before proposed changes. Can you cat the generated? They're missing, dog. You can trust me. So let me look. So in the generator, we're going to go to window definitions. And we're looking for, what function were we looking for? The app files to source. Where is this function hiding at? Is that in the core? Really? Wow. That's probably the issue right there. I don't think that function's getting sourced. That's probably the actual issue. I can't even find that function. Let's see what it tries to figure out. See, when you put this thing in extended thinking mode, it goes pretty hard. This is all just trying to reason out exactly what I'm seeing in the output. So the conditional must be evaluated and false. Either the array isn't being populated or it's empty. Okay. Looks like the app files to source function isn't actually sourced. I don't see it in the files sourced for generator. I can't actually find the function. I know there's a way to search every file. I don't think I remember what it is though. Maybe like Control Shift F. Is it Control Shift F? Okay, so why do I keep forgetting the name? App files to source. Now that's a hallucination if I've ever seen one. I made this a long time ago though. I thought I'd already tested this. I might have lost that function at some point, because it is not showing up anywhere. Okay, well, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me today. I am going to have to call it though. We'll be back tomorrow, hopefully hopping on about 1 p.m. Central Time is the plan, and I'll be on till around 5 p.m. Central Time. So, yep, shoot me a follow if you can. I would greatly appreciate that. And, you know, feel free to jump in chat with me tomorrow. And, you know, let me know what you think about AI. Let me know what you think about software development. You can shoot me all your opinions and, you know, ask questions. Oh, wow, I'm dumb. And writes the source lines. It's all in line with the log proofs. It's called. Okay, thanks, guys. I will catch y'all later.